BCB Kicks here, and these are the biggest mistakes small business owners make when they get their first customers. In this video, I'm talking directly to sneaker restoration professionals, but these same rules do apply to small business owners as well. And before we dive into the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into it. To start things off at number 5, we're going to talk about a big one. Taking partial payments. I honestly have been a victim to myself and my customers. Well, I really will say myself because it is my fault at the end of the day. I used to take partial payments when I first started my shop just to get people in the door, and I tried to give people the benefit of the doubt, like thinking like, oh, I mean, maybe this is a lot of money for them to pay at one time. Let me see if I can break it up in half, and then they bring me the other half when they're basically done, or when we're done with the shoes. Quickly, I learned that is just not gonna work, because I quickly got people who were trying to take advantage and put me at an inconvenience, and honestly slowed up my cash flow. Cash flow is one of the biggest things you want to keep in mind when running a business, because without cash flow, it's going to be hard to run the business day to day. So for example, I had a customer come in, he dropped off around 15 pairs. I think the total at the time, with the new customer 50% off deal, by the way, came out to be $300. And I told him, okay, cool, just give me half now, and then you can pay the other $150 when we call you in 2 weeks to pick up your shoes. So we knocked out the shoes. He gave us half. We knocked out the shoes, and then 2 weeks came along. We called him and said, hey, the shoes are completely done. Can you come in, pick them up, and then basically so we can get our other half of the money. It took so long for this man to come in. We had to call him 2, 3, 4, 5 times just to come pick up his shoes, and he was making excuse after excuse. The only way he actually came through was when we finally threatened to sell his shoes. I don't want to say threaten, but we mentioned to him in our message that, hey, like, these shoes have been here for over a month now. We're still waiting on the other half of the payment. Can we get our payment? If not, if you don't come by this day, we're just gonna sell the shoes to recoup. It was just a headache, just having to track somebody down to get the money that you worked for, the money that you earned, the money that you deserve. So to combat that completely, I put in rule in my shop, everything is due up front, because at the end of the day, I know I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, but I cannot count on somebody else for their word or what they're gonna do. And honestly, I think you all should do the same. Leading into the next topic, number 4, which is kind of connected to the last topic, letting customers slide too much. This is something I recently fell victim to again. So I had a regular customer that would drop off shoes at my shop, and his average ticket would be around anywhere from like $500 to $800 every time he'd come in. But he'd come in maybe once a month, once every other month. Long story short, I gave him a super deal the last time he came in, knocked out all his pairs. He gave me the money or what have you, and like I got kind of lax because he was a regular, and I was like, all right, well, he's a regular, he brings me good business, maybe I should be more lenient for him. He's bringing these big ticket orders, so I'm like, all right, just give me half or whatever. So he gives me the half, I complete the shoes, he gives me the partial payment, I'm cool, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna give you the other half when I come pick him up. And I was like, all right, cool, because we ran that before. So he came back to pick him up, he gave me basically the other half, but they were still missing about $50 to $60. I give him his shoes back. He's a regular customer, he drops off big orders. I'm not thinking he's about to finesse me. So unfortunately, I got lax. And that's where, like, you can't let customers slide. That's the biggest thing. Like, it connects to the other thing. And by me letting the customer slide, thinking that we were cool, all that stuff, I got finessed. That's just a lesson to you all, so you all don't have to go through the same thing. And unfortunate as it is, I'm just trying to save you all before it happens. No matter how cool you are, no matter who it is, get your money up front, please. Don't get lax with your customers. Moving on to number 3, not having policies. Whenever you're dealing with customers as a service-based business, you want to make sure you have your policies in place, because people will try to take advantage of you. They will, I promise you. I mean, as you can see, the past 2, they already got me. But so let's say somebody dropped off a pair of older shoes, something that's like from the early 2000s, or like a pair that's like a high risk pair. I had a waiver that I had people sign in the past before they would leave those shoes with me, because those are high risk pairs. Anything can happen, but I always make sure I let the customers know up front and ahead of time, hey, these are older shoes. I would prefer not to work on these because it's a risk that they might deteriorate even more or just altogether mess up for me working on them. Like, some people might want a midsole repaint on a pair of shoes that's like from 2004, and you already know the sole is gonna basically crumble if I even try to put any type of acetone or any type of abrasive chemical on there to remove the paint. I just stay away from that altogether, because if not that, I'm gonna have to chip at it by hand and take even more time, and it's just so much more of an inconvenience to work on. And I just have way more better use for my time where I can knock out more cleans instead of focusing on a shoe like that. It's just better to cut your losses and tell them like, hey, I can't do it. Like but like if you do decide to do it and wanna take on those challenges, I commend you. But just make sure you're protected, have a waiver. I don't really use the waiver anymore because I won't take shoes like that if I don't think I can actually do them. And I'm always upfront with my customers, which is another thing you want to keep in mind. Number 2, discounting too often. I fell into this trap for about a year, almost 2, when I started my business. Of course, I discounted a lot to get a lot of customers in and create that base of clients, especially when starting a brand new shop in my location. It was beneficial and it was helpful. I just think I let it go on for way too long. And for the quality of work that we do at our shop, and I'm sure that you all do as well, you can't discount forever. You can't. Like, you just cannot grow a business like that. So one thing that I fell in the trap of was just giving the 50% off, giving the 50% off here, giving the 50% off there. And over time, I looked at my numbers and I realized how much money I was really missing out on because I wanted to be a people pleaser. I wanted to, you know, give customers the best deal, and it just, people were just taking advantage. People were coming in that had already got the 50% off, trying to bring a friend, or they'll bring their girlfriend. The girl will be like, oh, these are my shoes, but it's like a size 12, and the girl is like this tall. So I'm like, I know those are not your shoes. I even had an incident where a customer had got the 50% off, and then he sent his daughter in the shop and said, these are a pair of shoes for my boyfriend that I'm dropping off. But like her dad had the shoes in here like already. So I kind of knew. And then I looked at the last name and I was like, these are the same size as her dad's shoes. And then it was like, huh. And I was like, okay, like I rolled with it, and then I did the shoes, and then I put them 2 and 2 together, because she came back and was like, oh, my dad has a pair of shoes here. I'm here to pick up my dad's shoes and my boyfriend's shoes. And then I looked outside to see where she came from, and I see her dad sitting in the car. And I'm like, I asked her straight up, I'm like, are these your dad's shoes? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, bro, have him come inside. So then they both came in, and I was just like, hey man, like I understand you're trying to get a deal, but you can't be doing this, man. I'm a small business. It's okay this time, but like next time you come in is regular price. Having people do that and then also missing out on potential money, it starts to hurt after a while, especially if you're trying to grow and invest more into the business. I had to scratch it. Like I literally cut it in half. So I did 50% off, then I brought it down to 35% off. Then I think I did 25 for like a little bit, and then I completely just cut it. And then now it's just full price when you come in, basically, because I know what we're worth in the shop. I'm sure you all know your worth as well, as long as your work is great. Charge what you want to charge, man. Like, it's at the end of the day, you all have to eat too. And I realized a little bit too late, not too late, but like later on, I spent too much time not trusting that people would still come if they didn't have a discount. And obviously I'm still going, we're doing even better now. So yeah, don't keep discounting. And before we get to our number 1 mistake, I want to talk about my Discord. So in my Discord, I have a sneaker restoration group where basically sneaker restorers from all across the United States and in other countries are all together in one chat where we all talk about our businesses, how to grow, and we network with each other, give out tips and tricks, etc. We have Zoom calls weekly where we all join up and actually meet, I guess, face-to-face virtually. And we talk about our different issues and how to grow and how to support each other along the way. It's just an untapped industry right now. I would much rather get all the information and learn everything as fast as possible instead of going to watch however many YouTube videos trying to figure it out myself. So if you're interested in joining the Discord, we have that in the description down below. Number 1 on the list, which I kind of touched on a little bit, saying yes to everything. That is a no-no. Yes, but no. The biggest thing with that is taking on tasks that are not the most efficient for your business, but also tasks that are very inconvenient and suck away time from other projects that you could do. And it also kills your momentum to an extent. For example, the example I was talking about a couple topics ago with the repaints on the midsoles. So I'm not gonna take in a shoe that I know I'm gonna have to be very teetering and just being really careful on, trying to make sure it's not messed up or anything like that on the midsole and prevent it from breaking down or deteriorating even more. Or even like re-glues in this case, where it's gonna take me a long time to try to figure that out and lay it out perfectly. And it's just a lot more hassle, and it's not really worth the time that you put in. So you might spend all that time on that one shoe, maybe like a whole day or a whole afternoon, when you could have been cleaning 5, 6, 7 pairs and made way more money than what you were gonna make on that one pair of shoes. So you gotta keep your time in mind, you gotta keep your effort in mind, you gotta keep everything in mind just so you can keep going. Tasks like that, especially if you're a solo sneaker restorer, will take the energy out of you and it will make you hate restoration. So I keep things simple in my shop. I do cleanings, icings, and minor paint touch-ups. I don't even bother with color matching anymore. It's just a hassle. So keep things simple, stay in your lane. If you wanna do re-glues, cool, be like a re-glue specialist. I mean, make that your thing, but you really gotta focus on one thing at a time and not try to do everything. And then you'll end up saving time for yourself, making restoration more enjoyable, and you'll get more money. So with that being said, I hope you all learned something from this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one.